Hi, Jeff Fennick here from Australia, former three-time world champion. Started boxing in 1981, represented Australia at the Olympics in 84. Won my first three fights, and then my last fight against the Yugoslavian was overturned by the international jury. Steve McCrory went on to win the gold medal. I turned professional immediately after that in 1984, and after 6 professional fights, in my 7th professional fight I fought for the world title, for the IBF World Bantamweight title. And I was able to become world champion after only 196 days. It was the shortest time ever for a professional boxer to win a world title. That record still stands today, my 7th professional fight. Very, very lucky also. About 4 or 5 fights later, I was able to fight the Olympic gold medalist, Steve McCrory, in a fight billed as Olympic revenge. I was able to eventually knock Steve McCrory out in the 14th round in a defence of my IBF world title. A year later, I won my 2nd world title. I won the junior featherweight WBC world title against Samad Pakaroon from Thailand. I won that in the 4th round knockout. So I won 2 world titles, which made me the first Australian ever to achieve that feat. A year later, I moved up another weight division after defending that title 3 times. I moved up to the featherweight division, and I fought a Puerto Rican named Victor Callejas, who was a very, very dangerous puncher from Puerto Rico. I was able to defeat him by stopping him in the 10th round and becoming one of only 11 fighters at that time to hold 3 world titles. So my dream was to be the first boxer to win 4 world titles and to be undefeated. I ventured over to Las Vegas to fight one of the great fighters of all time, an African by the name of Azuma Nelson. We fought at the Mirage at Las Vegas on the undercard to Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock. I think most people who watch the fight realise that, again, I was handed a pretty rough decision, but Azuma Nelson was a great fighter. I was robbed of my opportunity of winning my 4th world title. I continued to box for a couple of years after that. I tried to fight for that world title against Azuma Nelson, which I was defeated against Azuma Nelson. I moved up another weight division to fight for the world title against Philip Holliday, where I was also unsuccessful. After that, I retired from boxing. During that time of retirement, I was very, very lucky. I was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York, which was a huge highlight for me. In 2002, I was voted Australia's greatest ever fighter from the WBC, which again was another huge honour because Australia's had some great boxing champions, Costa Zoo, Lionel Rose, Jimmy Carruthers. So to be voted Australia's greatest ever fighter was certainly a huge highlight for me. After all my boxing career was over, I decided to get back in and do something for the sport that had done so much for me, and I began to train boxers. Slowly, as I began to train them, I began to manage them and also promote. Today, I'm one of Australia's leading boxing trainers and promoters. I train a host of great fighters. I have 4 guys who fought at the Australian Olympics in 2000 at Sydney that are all doing very well. Hopefully, by the time this is released, Hussein could be the flyweight champion of the world. I'm here today to teach some advanced techniques that will prepare you for fighting fighters with different styles, from southpaws to the classic boxer to the pressure fighter. Let's go to work. Hi, we're now going to go through with showing you some of the advanced techniques. First of all, how to box the southpaw. Hussein will come in here and he'll stand in the southpaw position. Southpaw is somebody who leads with their right hand. So if they're leading with their right hand and I'm boxing against this guy, I'm going to have to make sure that I move outside his jab. I start from the outside. One of the classic punches to throw against a southpaw is a straight right hand. But what we want to do is we want to try to be on the outside of all time. So as I'm boxing, I'm on the outside of that jab, making sure that he can't hit me with his best punch, which is his left hand. So if I'm on the outside, if I'm on the inside here and I move inside, I'm going to be hit with a straight left hand. My hand's up nice and high and I'm moving outside. I'm outside the danger punch, which is his left hand. A couple of good punches to throw against the southpaw, like I said, is the overhand right. Another good punch to throw against the southpaw is, just he's there, right hand to the body and coming back with our left hook. Again, right hand to the body, coming back with the left hook. 2 good punches to throw against the southpaw. Another one is, just as we're boxing with that southpaw, is going outside, staying, and using that hook lead over the top of the jab, over the top of that right jab, coming over and using that hook over the top of a right jab. Again, we slip outside the jab and we come back with our own hook. This way we're outside the punch, we cannot get hit with the left hand. Again, we're boxing a southpaw, very good punch, always to lead with the right hand. Outside the jab and right hand lead. Shortest way to hit him is with that right hand. Most boxers, when we're boxing, will have their hands up and they have a tendency to move this way all the time. So if we're moving this way, we're moving into the left hand. So very important, always thinking when we're fighting a southpaw, we're moving to the outside, we're moving to the outside and bring that right hand into play. Stay here. Again, right hand, yep, right hand, left to the body, left to the head. Here we go, right hand there, or right hand over the top, left rip, left hook. 3 beautiful punches to throw to southpaw. Right hand lead, left to the body, which will bring that hand down there. When that hand comes down, we finish with a left hook. Again, we should be in position to throw a punch again, which would be the right hand. 4 punch combination. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always moving the feet, always advancing the feet. If the feet stay in the same position and I've punched my opponent and he's moved, these punches will not land. Very important. Moving the feet. Feet have to move with our punches. Now we're going to start with the classic boxer, and the same will now start to box around the ring. If I don't cut the ring off, we got a 16 square ring to a 16 foot square ring to a 20 foot square ring, so there's a lot of room for the classic boxer if you don't know how to cut the ring off. A good fighter, a good pressure fighter will not do what I'm going to do now. This is what we shouldn't do. Hussein is boxing, jab with me. He'll jab, box, and I'm going to follow him around. He'll jab, and I'm following him around. The perfect way to stop this classic boxer is cutting that ring off and giving him angles instead of bringing him in, using the head movement, using the hip movement, cutting it off. As he jabs, we catch and we cut the ring off. I don't follow him around the ring. I don't follow him in a circle so he can keep moving and keep working off his jab. As we come into the middle of the ring here, as Hussein is boxing, he's going that way, going to the corner. I'm trying to keep him in the corner. I'm coming outside. I'm making him go to where my punches are. I'm working with him. I'm getting in close. I'm trying to be as close as I can. I'm trying to cut that distance off. We're going to break the distance down. We're going to break that resistance. We're going to break through that jab. Hands up nice and high, coming over with punches. Again, as he moves, I've got to cut the ring off. I don't follow him around the ring. If I follow him around the ring, I give him room to work all the time. So the classic thing to do is, again, as Hussein tries to move, I cut the ring off that way. If he goes back that way, I get back straight to there. I give him no room. This is called pressure fighting. Pressure fighting. Hands up nice and high, catching the jab. Something that Mike Tyson was great at. The classic boxer, an Oscar De La Hoya or Roy Jones, but if they get a very good pressure fighter, they'll make them fight. The great fighters can stand there and fight, like Roy Jones, Oscar De La Hoya. When you're a great fighter, you can do both things. When you're not, and you get cut off, you're in a lot of problems. Again, moving up, hands up, slipping that jab, catching, slipping, coming over with the right hand. And again, we catch, slip, over with the right hand. In position, catch, slip, right hand. Again, catch, slip, right hand, left hook. One more time. I'm pressuring, slip, right hand, left to the body. We're in close now. This boxer's got no room. And the other thing, as you'll know, where we are now, we don't have ropes. So if I had him back on the ropes, then he'd be in a lot of trouble. His back would be on the ropes, and he would not be in a position to move and to jab and to run anymore. Again, to cut off the classic boxer, we must have good balance and good feet. One of the most important things is my feet are wide apart, my balance is there. As Hussein walks this way, I step across. I don't have my back foot following my front foot. My back foot goes first, I step across. I'm stepping across at all times and going outside, outside, outside. If he steps that way, then the front foot goes in there. So I'm not ever crossing my feet. The feet are very, very important. To cut this guy off, if my feet aren't good, I will not stop him from moving. So the feet have got to nicely balanced. As he jabs, I'm going to get out the outside. Outside. The feet are always moving to the outside, making him go to where you want him to come to. So, for instance, if I get him out here now, I'm ready for as this one comes here, I'm ready to throw the right hand. If he steps back the other way and I'm here, I'm ready to either throw the left hook to the head or the left hook to the body. So 2 punches, you're always ready. As he moves this way again, I'm ready to throw the right to the body or the right to the head. As he moves this way, if my feet are in the right position, I'm ready to throw the left hook to the body or the left hook to the head. Another form of fighting is called pressure fighting. That's something that Jeff Fennick was famous for. I put pressure on opponents from the first second of the first round to the last second of the last round. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now as I get Hussein in the ring to do some boxing with me. All right, and shake. Very, very important. Hands up nice and high. If the hands are down, we are going to get hit. So the hands are going to be nice and high, good defensive mode, and very important to be moving these hips. Very important, hands up nice and high. Catching those punches on the gloves. Always looking. Not falling for feints to the body. So your hands come down. Hands up nice and high. Learning to take those punches. Learning to defend. Learning to move up nice and quick. Having good feet. Learning to tie up and to work on the inside. Very important once we get him on these ropes, is to be able to work. To be able to work with the body and not let him out. As I'm working and he tries to sneak out of there, I've got to push myself right across for him again. And it's the same way. Having this hand here, having one hand free at all times, being able to work is very important. The rules of boxing, if you've got one hand free and you're working with it, the referee should let you work. So you've got to keep trying to work with that one hand. Pressure, pressure, staying very close. Pressure's not hitting your opponent, it's the thought of you hitting him. And when he gets into that frame of mind, the fight becomes very easy. Nice and close, nice and close. You've got to have good defensive skills in close. You've got to be able to make sure that when we get into this distance, we're there for the uppercut. Our hands there for the hook. Nice and close. For the uppercut now, uppercut there, hook there. You've got to be ready for it. And you've got to be able to punch off it. Having your feet in the right position. Always bringing that right position. Pressure fighting. Pressure fighting. Getting in there. Being able to work that body in close. And giving yourself room to come back with punches over the top. Very, very important. Another thing you've got to realise, while me, Jeff Fennick, I'm in here punching this guy and he's going backwards, I'm nullifying the punching power of my opponent. Very, very hard for a fighter to punch with any power in a backward motion. Very, very difficult. Coming forward, me coming forward, I've got my weight coming with the punches. Me going backwards, nullifies all my power. So the pressure fighter wants his fighter going backwards at all times, pushing him backwards, not giving me any room to punch, especially with power. Always moving around, moving your opponent backwards. No power. Me always having power coming forward and leverage to throw all my punches. Again, very important while we're in here close to be able to roll and punch. Again, all coming from the feet. Boom. Stay there. Roll and punch. Again, here I come. I see my opponent there. I roll and come up with a punch. Again, roll and come up with a punch. One more time, roll and come up with a punch. Ready for that next punch. Pressure fighting. The outside the jab, over with that. In we go again. As my opponent's going backwards, very little power. It's all nullified. And now I'm going to show you how to prepare to fight against one of those fighters, a pressure fighter. Very important, have very good legs. You have to be able to dictate and move around that ring. Up we come, nice distance. And when that fighter does get there to lock you in, you've got to be able to learn to tie him up nice and tight. Hold until that referee tells you to break. Start again. On the outside of that jab, you know. Good angles, got to have good angles. Come, good feet. Got to have good pivoting feet. So as he throws that right hand, pivot out of the way. Back with a punch again, back to the center of the ring. Very important to try to stay in the center of the ring against these guys who are pushing you up, trying to push you backwards. Pressure fighters, very important to stay in the ring. If a pressure fighter gets you in their corner, then you're in trouble. But when he gets you in the corner, very important to learn to tie that boy up. Tie him up nice and tight. Just tie him up until that referee tells you to break. As soon as he says break again, we're going to try to get back in the middle of the ring, working off that jab, bringing him onto punches, not letting the pressure fighter set himself. As soon as that pressure fighter sets himself, gets you back on the ropes, then you're in trouble. Very important again, if I haven't trained, if I haven't conditioned my legs from this pressure fighter, the first thing that'll go will be the legs. And when the legs go, everything else will go after it. Very important, good legs, nice strong jab, keeping the pressure fighter away. Right in and out. Yeah. Pressure fighter's coming, right hand and out. And again, pressure fighter, right hand and out of there. You leave the pressure fighter there, back in the center of the ring. He comes again, right hand and out. Left hook, pressure fighter comes up, left hook under, and we're out of there, ready to punch again. And again, the pressure fighter's coming up, hands are up. Good. Always my eye on the opponent. Always eye on the opponent. Again, a little pivot and ready to punch again. Back to the middle of the ring, working off the jab. The most important punch is that beautiful jab, pumping it out, ready for the uppercut. When that little pressure fighter comes in, he's really nice and close to you. Nice distance, uppercuts. Very important punch. Uppercut, 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 and hook. Very, very important punch for a pressure fighter, or to keep a pressure fighter off you. As the pressure fighter's coming, he's always in that bend, he's in that crouch. If we can get his head up and make him think of something coming up, we've already got him thinking our kind of fight. So that's how to counter a pressure fighter. Okay. Another thing with the pressure fighter, those little guys that are pressure, like the Joe Frazers, they love to hook. As they hook, the best counter punch for a hooker is to hook with a hooker, because usually when they hook, they drop this right hand. So it's very, very important that if I'm going to throw a hook and I throw it properly, that this right hand's kept up. Usually, like I said, as a hooker throws a hook, he hooks and he drops that punch. If you catch his hook, he's usually open to be hooked as well. So we're in close, I've gone under that punch there, I've gone under this right hand, I've get ready for the hook, the right hand comes down automatically. So you hook with the hooker, so nice, as that hooker goes to hook me, boom, we hook together. Very important, when you're fighting a good little hooker like a Joe Frazier or those little Mike Tyson guys, you've got to keep that right hand up nice and high as we're going under the punch. If we're going to hook, which is a very dangerous punch to throw, we must have the right hand up to counter the other hooker. Sometimes we get into the ring and we hit somebody with a beautiful punch, and all of a sudden our fighter is in protection mode. He gets on his toes and he just runs and runs and runs. The way to beat one of these fighters is watch this. Right, I've hit his hand early with a nice punch early in the fight. He's in protection mode now. He's up on his toes. He's trying to box. We've got it nice and tight because this guy's going to be running. We've got to learn to cut the ring off. Hands have got to be up high. A lot of times when he punches, we've got to learn to punch off the jab. Boom. We catch a jab and we punch. We can't wait. We can't beat with the jab. Hands have got to be up high, but we counter the punch with a punch. It's like counter punching. We're getting up there nice and close. He's boxing. He's using his feet. He's using his feet. Hands up high. We're taking all those punches on the gut and we're punching with the punch. We punch with the punch. We catch and we punch. Boom. Pressure. Boom. Pressure. Boom. And two punches. When that guy's running, he throws one punch, you've got to double your workload. Pick the pace up. In a 20-foot square ring, it's very, very hard to keep running. I don't care who you are, whether you're Sugar Ray Robinson or Sugar Ray Leonard. If you've got somebody in there who can cut the ring off, they will catch you. But the great fighters like the Leonards, like the Robinsons, they were able to stand there and fight as well. They were able to deliver deadly blows from in close as well as while they were moving. So very, very important for perfect preparation to get them feet right, do the road work, and do that very, very early interval training to make sure we can last the rounds and do the distance. Now we're going to show you the classic boxer. I'm not sure if there's ever been another, but Ali used to like to just stand there, pick his opponent off, in and out, in and out. We're going to go through those movements and then we're going to try to show you what we should do to a fighter that does that to you. You can do in and out. Just jabs, he's there not to be hit. In and out. He's in, he's out. He's in. Again, now I'll show the movement. This is like the Ali with his hands out. In, and he comes out. He'd just drag you onto him. What Muhammad Ali was so great at, he was great at feinting. He'd just lean there, he'd draw you onto the punch, and boom, and he was straight away. By the time you punched back, he would hit you, boom, he'd be back, and he'd come back with a beautiful right hand. Ali didn't have power, he had that speed, and speed equals power, and he was just so brilliant that he'd just draw you into a punch, he'd jab you, and he'd just put that little finishing touch of the right hand on you, and they were the punches that knocked most people out. For me, the way to counter that is, again, to have a very good defense. Get them hands up nice and high, and we've got to be able to try to walk through them and slip the punch. Very important to be able to slip. Great movement, great boxers, great pressure fighters have good hip movement. If we don't have hip movement, you're going to be a stationary target and you'll get hit very much. So outside, we'll go outside the jab, then outside the right hand. Out, again, out. When we're here now, we're there to punch. We can't just make a miss and not punch. The classic tale in boxing is you make him miss, you make him pay. So as I make him miss, I've got to make him pay. So I've got to make him pay, make him miss, boom, got to make him pay. I miss, under, yeah. Here I am, ready to make him pay. That hands down's got to be nice and high just to show you, bing, here, and here we go, the beautiful right hand. Make him miss and make him pay. Pressure fighter. Being ready to punch again after two. Another thing that Ali was famous for, we all know, it was rope to dope. And you've got to learn, because there will be some stage in a fight where you are backed up against the ropes, and we've got to have good defensive skills while we're on the ropes. We've also got to know how to hold and tie up, and we've also got to know how to turn our opponent inside out by turning him, being in the defensive mode as your opponent's punching, to being able to have a quick little turn and have him on the ropes and you out of them. Although there's no ropes there, so what happens is I've gone from the defensive mode just to being able to turn my opponent to be in attacking mode. Now he's on the ropes and it's my turn to start attacking. So I've gone from a defensive mode. I'm making sure, now remember, we're nice and close here. We don't have to hold these here, because if we hold these here, we will be hit with the uppercut. And that's the punch that a pressure fighter that's got you in on the ropes is trying to deliver to you. So we've got to cover that chin. We've got to cover that chin. Got to cover. And we've got to fire off with him and then turn him out of there, and we're ready to attack again ourselves. In that one movement, we go from defense to offense, and then it's my turn to start to work. So very quickly, while we can't hit him while he's back turned, if the robots were there, he'd be turned and his face would be facing me. Basically, turn and my turn to work. Again, defensive skills on the ropes. Showing your defensive skills on the ropes. You go to the body. When somebody goes to the body, the best form of defense to the body punch is just a little slip, just a little tiny turn. Have to hit you to the body there, a little turn. Go to the other side in the middle. All defensive skills. None of this is going to happen if I'm not watching my opponent. If I've just got my head down and not thinking about what's happening, I will not cover the punches. Always very important, staying focused. Seeing what punch your opponent's going to throw. Seeing what we can counter punch from that. Seeing when we can counter punch. Seeing the openings. We let him throw a punch to that side. He throws. He throws to that side. I'm in position to throw a left uppercut. So we're drawing this guy in to throw punches at me so I can make openings to punch back. Defensive skills here. And quick turn. And my turn to work. And if you're not a pressure fighter, if you don't want to be on the ropes, and we're on the ropes for that split second, as soon as we turn our opponent, we get back to the middle of the ring and we get that jab working again. Start pumping that jab out using our feet. Another important part about being in close is having your weight leaning forward. If I'm backwards again, I'm in big trouble. Your shoulder, always be on your opponent. Although it's illegal to use the shoulder, it's very important to have that shoulder leaning on your opponent. That gives you exactly the amount of room, homie. That gives you exactly the amount of room that when I'm ready to punch, I'm in that distance to punch. If I'm standing here too far up against my opponent, I've got no punching power, no punching room at all. Very important. Head to the side so we're not going to get hit. Here I am, just can pivot around, but as I pivot, I'm ready to throw a punch. Here we are, nice and close, we're leaning together, just pivoting around, in position to throw a punch. Had I been upright, here, I'm turning around, that's all we're going to do. We're going to have a little waltz and have a dance. We're not going to be in a position to punch. And it's imperative that at all times we're in position to punch. If he throws a punch at me now I'm here, and it was a bad one, I'm in position to come back with another punch. Very, very important, being able to use that body weight. Body weight, that little push there, you know, a little push there. We're ready to punch at all times. Mike Tyson, famous for the around the body and then the uppercut to the middle. That's what he does. Hands are up there, boom, he punches around that body there, so they hold there and finishes with the uppercut. Same with the left hand, around the body and then to the middle. A lot of fighters have this form of defence. In close, I believe it's very important to put the head to the side and cover the middle. Nobody's going to hurt it from this vicinity. Nobody's going to hurt us from this close range with the hook. But from back here, they will hurt us. If they hit me to the body, around the body, then they'll come to the middle. That's it. The famous Tyson punch is bang, boom, and he's knocked many people out with it. And a lot of other fighters use this, not just Tyson. So they get their fighter going back, around the body, straight to the middle. Around the body, straight to the middle. Okay, and close, around the body, and boom, straight to the middle. It opens up the middle of the body. Very important, like I said, head nice and close. On the outside, using that head, using that shoulder. Not in an illegal way, in a legal way, just having that nice distance, in a nice distance, so we can always in position to punch. Very important to be in position to punch at all times. Yep, this is still me, Jeff Fennick, with this title headgear on. I'm now going to go through a couple of sparring drills that we do with my opponent. Same the same, we'll box a few rounds, we'll go through the movement, we'll go through some of the in drills, we'll go through some of the jabbing drills. So, enjoy it. Let's go, Huss. And jab. Go. Short. Middle. Again. Stop. You see those 4 punches? Every time he threw them, I was in position to watch and to make sure that I caught them properly. Had I not been, and I just took that one punch, I would have been open for the other punches. My hands are up nice and high. I caught the first, stop again. I caught the first 2 on the arms. Again, slowly. Caught the first 2 punches on the arms. Knowing that the next punch was going to be the uppercut. Caught the uppercut, caught the hook. Ready to counter punch myself and come back. Very important. If we just stand there and take punches, your opponent will keep on punching. We've got to be in the position to punch back in. Let's go, full punch. Just then, the same, he balked, he feinted, made my hand drop and hit with the hook. Go through the feint and throw the hook. So that's first jab, he jabs, first jab, jabs, throws the jab, hand drops for the feint. Okay. And close. Very important, like I said, about being nice and close, getting in that position, ready to punch, boom, to the body. The body is important. At all times, I'm watching what's happening. I'm concentrating at all times.
A good fighter that's done all this conditioning will let somebody jab into the body for this reason. He'll jab to the body to throw the right hand. He opens the body. I'm going to open the body so Hussein can throw a body shot at me. So I can bring him onto the right hand. The sucker punch, boom. He goes to the body. I come for the right hand, left uppercut, or left hook after that. Let's go through it again. Boom, boom. In position ready. I draw him in. Now he's going to the body. Overhand right, left hook. Okay. Stay there. Working to the head, getting his hands up, slipping to the body. Fast punches, no power to the head. I want his hands up. And body, that's the shot. Here we go again. Side and body. Now Hussein will do it to me. Same thing. What we try to do is, I try to get Hussein in the ring and to go through every fighter. As we're training in preparation, we try to go through everything in the ring. Now, he's got this pressure fighter, he's got his hands up, gets to the side, Hussein. That's the shot. We're both fighting together, defense. He gets my hands up, crushes him into the body. Very important punch. That's it. The main thing that he's doing here is at the end of his punches, he's not doing this from here and stretching. He's punching, getting to the side, making that angle, that all important angle that we were talking about earlier. Angles. 1, 2, 3, 4 here, to the side, angles of punch. Now, he's out of the way. He's ready to punch his next couple of punches. A lot of times in the boxing ring, it can turn into a chess match. Two guys looking, trying to out-jab each other. Very important. You've got to let your fighter know that the second that bell starts to the end of the 3 minutes is when you've got to have your concentration. After that minute rest, we can start again. But we've got to concentrate at all times. Two guys in a boxing competition, like a chess match, they're out there thinking. They're boxing. They're just boxing, continually thinking. Sometimes you'll hear the boos from the crowd, they get a little bit boring. So it's very important, keeping your focus, keeping your mind on the job. But there's going to come a time in that fight where if you want to win it badly enough, you've got to take a few risks. Risks meaning that instead of using that chess match, we've got to turn the chess match into a bit of a pressure fight. We've got to take risks. We've got to be first to the punch. We've got to try to out-jab our opponent. We've got to throw some right hands. Although they're dangerous to throw, we've got to throw them. If you're going to win the fight, sometimes you've got to take gambles. And if it's a calculated gamble, again, if you've gone through it in preparation, it'll be okay. Let's box. This chess match is happening. First one hand in a minute. Get into my glove. Into my glove. I'm checking jabbing. Jabbing. We're just jabbing. We're both thinking. Hussein decided he's got to take this into his hand. Bang! So he throws the right hand. And he's in position for his next punch. That's it. The left hook. Okay. Well, that was just jabbing. We're trying to outthink each other. One of us has got to take a risk. So somebody's got to throw that punch. It's got to be that lead punch. We've got to take a little bit of a risk in the fight. Once we've taken that risk, we've got to continue to work. Usually in the fight, the referee, the judges are going to look at that guy who's more aggressive. If there's a fight and it's close, they're going to look for the aggressor. They're going to look for the guy who makes the fight. So that's why that fitness and all that hard work is very important. As long as we've got our opponent going backwards, you're in a dominant position.
Hi, Jeff Fennick here at the end of that workout, and I hope you learned something from it. The main thing that we're trying to teach today was that in a fight, you can experience any kind of fighter. We can get in there with the southpaw, we can get in there with a pressure fighter, we can get in with a boxer, and it's imperative that we teach our fighter to fight all these kind of guys. If you only teach him to fight a boxer, he comes into a pressure fighter, What happens? You lose the fight. We don't teach him about southpaws. What happens? He gets hit with the left hand for the whole night. So very, very important as a trainer to make sure that your boy's ready to fight any kind of fighter.
Title Boxing's got you covered with 16 action-packed videos to get you in the best condition of your life. Boxing and conditioning experts Danny Campbell, Michael Rutherford, Jeff Finnick, and Russ Anber put you through the paces to show you everything you need to know to improve your speed, strength, agility, and stamina. How to wrap hands, hitting the heavy bat, medicine ball, obtaining the edge of speed, interval training, punching at angles, advanced techniques, explosive speed and power, mastering the basics, punchmit secrets, getting bigger and stronger, dynamic speed and thrust, counter punching, working the corner, defensive skills and drills, body punching, and more. Get only the ones you want, or get maximum impact with the entire series. Get the secrets of over 80 years of combined boxing and physical training experience in one action-packed video series. Where do you get it? Exclusively at TitleBoxing.com. TitleBoxing.com. If we don't have it, you don't need it.